bonus here. This is a part of the game. We want to make sure that you feel like a hero from the beginning. So you'll take on groups of 2, groups of 3, even 4, very early on. We just make sure you have the tools to handle that kind of combat. Another look at that flamethrower because it's hot. See what I did there with the hot? It's funny.
I do, I see.
Yeah, it's not funny. Anyways, this is what we're talking about. This is heroic Star Wars combat that feels like the iconic class you think of when you think of the films. Now we're going to jump over and show you a second class here. We'll get back to the Bounty Hunter in a minute.
Alright, so the next class we're going to show you here we first talked about at E3, and this is of course our Smuggler class. Now you can quickly identify where this guy's taken from. Looks a lot like Han Solo from the movies. And so this means that of course he is the scrappy, jaded underdog who always comes out on top, no matter the odds stacked against him. Of course, this guy always gets the girl, maybe even the hot bounty hunter chick.
You really need to drop this whole fixation with virtual girls.
Now, we start out on the planet of Ord Mantell here, and Ord Mantell is a war-torn planet in the Star Wars universe. You saw a destroyed walker there in the background. And basically, there are some separatists that are duking it out with the Republic here, and our mission as a smuggler is to run guns to the Republic side and help them out. Now, let's see what combat looks like with our smuggler. Alright, so we quickly established he's a ranged class, that trusty blaster at his side, if you will. Now, one of the important things about our game is every class, we want every class to play, feel, look different. And so in thinking about, how we could make the smuggler special, we had to think about what Han Solo does in the movie. So Dallas, could you do a little reenactment?
I think he does a lot of this. Maybe he peeks around corners and stuff. Yeah, he's not really a tough toe-to-toe fighter or Han Solo.
No, he is not. So, what we've come up with is the first ever cover system of its type in an MMO, which you see here. Now, it's often disputed, but some may say that
Han shoots first, and that's what we're going to show you right here. That's right. Han shoots first.
Alright, so you can see Jake has taken cover here, and the way that works is he's targeted an enemy, and then we get some indicators in the world that show us cover points. And we can switch between cover points, which we just saw there. And once we have established ourselves in a good cover position, we can then fire upon the enemy. Now you may notice above the enemy's head there's a green indicator. Just tells us that we have a defensive bonus against that enemy because we found a good cover point. Another thing to notice here as we go into cover again is watch that quick slot bar at the bottom of the screen. You'll notice we have different abilities based on whether we are in cover or not. So just one more advantage. Nice flashbang there. And following that up with a special ability called Barrage, able to fire very rapidly with the blaster at multiple enemies. Now, of course, the smuggler has to have his own signature style if he's getting close to an enemy. So what do we have here? Yeah.
He's a classy guy. He is a classy fellow.
There you go, folks. Dirty kick followed by a headshot. Excellent. So, great look at our smuggler there, but we're going to move ahead and show you a third class and third planet now. Dallas, take it away.
All right, now this class was just recently revealed at Gamescom. This is the Sith Warrior, everybody. This is the hotness. So we've shown you a couple of ranged classes thus far, but you can't show a Star Wars game without a little bit of lightsaber combat. So that's what you're going to see with the Sith Warrior here. He starts on the planet of Korriban. Again, if you played the original Knights of the Old Republic, as it sounded like a few of you had, you'll remember Korriban. It is a Sith stronghold. It's actually where they train their young Sith, and this is why you're here. You're learning to channel the dark side of the Force. Now, you're going to actually be entering an ancient tomb here. These have been excavated numerous times, and you're going to try and recover some very powerful artifacts down there. There's some pretty nasty enemies along the way, though, and you're going to have to deal with them in a way that only a Sith warrior can.
And I just want to point out, who better to go into an ancient evil tomb than Deep Crow?
Oh yeah, bring it, Deep. There you go. So, you saw him do the Force charge there. As I mentioned before, we want to make sure these classes feel like what you remember from the movies, and everybody remembers Darth Vader doing that when fighting Luke in Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back. As a Sith warrior, you want to close quickly. You want to charge in and do a whole lot of damage up close. Very nice. Now we're taking on a couple of melee enemies, but we're also going to see what he does when he has to deal with obviously he needs to be able to deal with that situation as well. Unless Jake just kills them that fast. We're going to kill one more group here. And you're going to be able to see what happens when you have multiple enemies surrounding you. We keep talking about that. You can see he's actually parrying the guys behind him while he deals damage to the one he's targeting. This is all part of that heroic combat, the ability to take on multiple enemies and then do a whole lot of damage very quickly when you need to.
Man, I just gotta say, that guy kicks ass.
That guy kicks a lot of ass. Alright, we're going to see a little bit more of the Sith Warrior here, so you haven't had your full fill of Sith Warrior, but we're going to take a pause.
That's right. We have a special announcement. Now, we've got a full theater here. We appreciate you guys taking the time to wait out there. We want to make sure we reward you properly. So we have a very special reveal here before we get back into gameplay.
It's just for PAX. Has not been shown or mentioned before today.
That's right. So we have a lot of questions, of course, about Knights of the Old Republic, history, etc. People want to know what happened to Revan. People want to know who the Emperor is. So we want to reveal to you, here at PAX, first time ever, the ultimate evil force in Knights of the Old Republic. Here we go. Ready? Hit it!
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Darth Binks, baby.
I think there's a special message for us.
Misa Darth Binks! Misa Maxi Big with the dark side force with an eagle kaboom!
Oh yeah, it's coming, baby. It's coming. In Star Wars The Old Republic. That actually wasn't our reveal for today. We had a joke on you. We're funny like that.
I think that explains it all. Alright, so in our pause here, we are going to get back into gameplay, but let's recap what we've seen so far. So in the beginning, Dallas talked about these 4 key ingredients to making a great role-playing game. So far we've shown you a little bit of combat with 3 classes, the Sith Warrior, the Bounty Hunter, and the Smuggler. We've shown you some exploration with Hutta, Org Mantell, and Korriban. And we've shown you a little bit of progression with some higher level abilities. We're going to get back to that in a minute. But let's go back to story. So of the classes we've seen so far, if I was to play through, or Dallas, either one, was to play through as a Smuggler, who's a Republic side class, and then to play through as a Bounty Hunter, who is an Empire, Sith class, Empire class, our gameplay experience would be entirely different end to end. Hundreds of hours, is that correct?
100% unique.
That's right. All of our voiceover, all of our quests, the people we interact with, our rewards, everything.
You would not see one single duplicate mission if you did that. Not one.
So when people ask us, go ahead.
Well, this is a question we often get. Yeah. She's playing. Why is it that you are not making Knights of the Old Republic 3?
That's a great question, Dallas, and I have a good answer, I think.
Do you?
We are making Knights of the Old Republic 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on in an MMO where you can play through those stories online with your friends.
I think that sounds compelling. What do you think?
Alright, so we're going to jump back into the game. The best way to showcase this is what we're going to show you next. It's called a Flashpoint. It's a highly customized story and gameplay experience. And we want to give a shout out here.
Yeah, actually, just especially today, I didn't even know they would be here. The 2 designers responsible for the Flashpoint that you're going to see are actually right here in the audience. So Jesse, Eric, stand up, wave, dance, do something cool. These guys are all... When you grow up, you want to be these dudes. That's all I'm saying.
Alright, let's get back into the game.
Alright, so this is a Flashpoint. This takes place on an Imperial transport ship. Jake is playing again as a Sith Warrior. He's a higher level Sith Warrior than what you saw